You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the and welcome to the show. My name's Dave, and this is a Fistful of Podcasts from FFOPRadio.com. Back for another great week. Let me introduce you, as usual, to my co-host, all the way from the Arena Sparks area. And up first, we have one Mr. Andrew Bergevin.
I don't have a clever joke.
What? We've been back for weeks now, Andy. You should know what the fuck is up.
No!
Jesus Christ. All right, also, jokeless Andy there. Next to him, we have one Mr. Adam J. Hubbard Esquire.
I have a clever joke, but it's not for you.
God damn it. I want you to
He's
break...
got it written down on, like, fancy filigreed paper.
Yeah, I laminated it.
Oh, and I'm
this
sure...
joke will last forever.
Motherfucker. No Krista in studio. She's off taking care of my Sproutling. So, no sound drops. I know everybody loves the sound drops. We don't have a soundboard operator this week. But we may have something better. Right before the show, Andy is like, let me, Dave. He said...
I'm not even going to start. We're not going to start with small talk.
No, if we don't talk about this now, Andy, I'm going to forget, and then I'm going to be kicking myself later. So
we're jumping straight to attacking you, Andy.
This
sounds like the normal show.
Well, here's what happened. Andy is like, oh, what's this? A pool of sharks? Oh, what's this? Like a Diet Coke with blood? Whoops! And he just dropped it in.
Diet Coke with blood?
Diet Coke blood orange.
You did this to yourself, Andy. By showing me this, you must have known something.
I told you not to, Andy. I begged you. I pleaded.
So please, what the fuck is the name of this thing before we even get started? What is it called?
HoloLive.
Give us the first paragraph of the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, can you hit up Wikipedia?
I'm not writing you a report.
So Andy, now when Andy was explaining this to me, it sounded like gibberish coming out of his mouth. It sounded like he had been struck dumb by some sort of stroke and was gibbering. But then he sent me this link. And I thought, okay, if Andy likes it, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to be open-minded. I know everybody...
David has never said that to himself in his entire life.
I know that...
David was open-minded for all of 3 seconds.
And then Andy crushed it.
Hey, David, you know what's great? Bars of gold to be like, you suck.
Listen, this is a brand new show and a brand new Dave, and I thought, God damn it, it's time to give things a shot. And wouldn't you know, the first thing that Andy showed me slammed the door so hard on that it may never open again.
You ever remember us, Adam, going, hey, David, you want to play Monster Hunter? He's like, what's that? A game for stupid people.
Listen, if you would have given me a link to Monster Hunter, I would have been like, interesting. You fucked up this time. You could have gone without giving me a link. You could have been like, hey, I'm into this hollow bullshit for the rest of your life. I would have never looked into it, and you would have skated. But you did.
Would have been easy street.
Yeah, you would have been writing your own checks on Wall Street. But now here we are with this hollow stream bullshit. So, Andy,
Andy's hovering over the hang up button.
No, wait. So break it. I'm going to break it down for the layman out there because I, having no experience with this, was like, what the fuck is it? So it's apparently just like Riggs ass streaming like games and shit. But,
I mean, that's nothing new,
right? But the thing about it is these people are being like.
Motion captured. But now when you said motion captured, I thought, interesting. We're going to see characters moving around. These characters that you are showing me are so stiff and lifeless. The only motion they are capturing is that of a dead fish as it falls to the floor from a counter. That's their 2D models. They have 3D models, but then they have to go to a studio and they can't do that.
Yeah. David.
But isn't it weird? Like, we're watching someone who is, like, so far removed from reality. Like, they're not one of those people who gets in front of a camera with a plastic set of horns and they have to do makeup and they have to dress like a weird sexual pervert or whatever. These people just get to like slip in front of a camera and be like, immediately transformed into somebody, God, like maybe 80%.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Is that what you think about all voice actors?
Not only is it the dream, Andy, it's the wet dream, because this is a sex pervert thing. I guarantee it.
It's not a sex pervert thing. Not all the time.
It can be it most of the time, because why are most of not even most
They're all women.
They're all not even women. They're girls. These are children with cat ears and little demon horns. This is weird.
This is the future, David.
Is
The
it?
future of, like, one, if I was a chick seeing how much, like, and I wanted to make money streaming video games, I would not put my face on the screen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put my voice on there.
That's a big number one.
I would sound like the guy from Scream.
Well, so
I want to be the Jigsaw guy.
But that's the thing, it's sort of a double-edged sword, because if you're a dude streamer, like, people go out of their way to hide their faces, but chicks are like, here I am, check these cans, you know why you're here, start hitting me up with Patreon donations.
But at the same time, like, anybody can put any sort of model they want over this at this point.
I was just thinking,
I know.
what if we did, like, do you think they'd sue us if we streamed with the little Saw guy?
That'd be awesome.
Well, here's my thing, is like, so now, like, let's say, I want to go, this is 2345, the year of Star Trek, and I go out and buy myself a little animated avatar, and I get some sort of software to change my voice to a nice little lady anime voice. Then I can have 12-year-olds burning it to me all over the world, and I'm still just me, my hairy ass, sitting behind the camera.
Taking
But
the wrong message away from this.
I like that David immediately went, like, people are just burning it to this, aren't they?
I mean, why wouldn't they? Look at me.
listen,
David, look, I read the news all day and I'm like, oh, look, Trump supporters killed another guy. I would like to watch a cute girl with puppy ears play Banjo-Kazooie for an hour.
listen, I get that, because, and I mostly believe that is your only motivation, mostly. But there are a hardcore army of dudes who want to get their hands on a real-life incarnation of a 12-year-old Japanese cat girl, and those are the legions of fans that I am uncomfortable with.
And it's essentially like this guy got together right now. It's like 47 girls that do this for him. And he's like, I'm going to make an idol group, and none of them are behaving in a way that would...
So their idols behaving badly.
There was one the other day that was like, she's like, okay, I'm going to stream this thing, and I'm going to drink these... It's a brand of alcohol in Japan called Strong.
Sure.
She had 6 of them and fell asleep. So it's just like this anime chick, like...
Here's the thing. Like, as much as I rail about all these millionaire 12-year-olds who are doing it for whatever reason, I have to tell you, I am in love with YouTube drama. It is a disgusting cesspool of rich, entitled assholes calling each other pedophiles, but I seriously cannot get enough of it.
Yeah. I try to stay away from the drama part, but sometimes videos, like, I cannot tell you how much my recommendations have been fucked.
Yeah.
By watching a lot of this stuff. Because I'll tell you what, David, you get home from you want to know what I did at the Target today?
Sure.
My job was to sit behind a little glass booth, like a little glass window.
Yeah, they gave Andy like a shark cage.
Nice.
At the front door and give people the angry teacher glare if they were walking in without a mask.
I still, listen, to this day, I have, like, not only have I still seen it, but as recent as this morning, have seen people walking from a store to their car where a womanly hand swinging a mask out an open window knowingly says, I told you so, as a grumpy redneck marches his ass out of the store to get the thing that everyone is required to wear.
Oh, David, and if they weren't wearing a mask and they didn't quickly panically pat their pockets when I gave them the look.
Yeah.
I had masks for them to wear, and I had this big bearded redneck wearing a shirt that said Black Guns Matter.
Oh my, I just can't believe this. I have visited Reno, Nevada. It did not seem like this, like, sun-scorched, fuck-blasted hellhole that you described to me, but I've got no other point of reference.
But David, you weren't here when people were being told what to do.
Yeah, it was always there,
true.
but they've just really come out of the woodwork during the last half year or so.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, sir, just to remind you, you need to be wearing a mask in the Target. And he's like, I don't have one. I was like, and I followed him for a good 20 seconds. Like, well, here you go. Have a mask. Here's one. Why not put it on? Put it on right now.
Was your booth portable? So you're like the guy from Futurama in the 7-Eleven?
No, I'm not.
Oh, damn it. The store got a lot less good.
And also, if I see somebody with a mask that says Trump 2020, as I'm walking next to them, I'll just be like,
It's like it's whatever, guys. It's fucking crazy. But hey, also here's another. This isn't $1 million idea. This is like, I'm gonna give you this idea, and you can use it. You don't have to, but it will send a message. So let's say, just for example, you're your average person who gets dicked over by one of these huge corporations. Like, you get sold a lemon or whatever. You get so frustrated. You want to send the biggest.
I wanted a lime.
You send this is the biggest card you can ever pull. And much like Daffy Duck's talent performance, you can only do it once. So what you do is, my idea is basically erecting a slingshot the size of like a field goal post with a large rubber band, huge, maybe like, 12, 14 inches wide. You bring that baby back and then aim it basically at the headquarters of wherever you do not like. So your head will go right in the cradle, and then there will be this robotic chopping arm that will sever your head and the rope holding the band and shoot your face across the U.S. to the headquarters of that company. And if you are lucky, it will go through a window and land in a boardroom.
It's certainly a message to send.
I'm calling it the frustration appult. Because here's the thing. I was so like, because when the AC went out.
The tri-state area.
When the AC went out here, I was so like, living in a house that is a steady 96 degrees even at night gets you pretty irritated.
Pretty hot.
Pretty hot and wet, because I was constantly waking up dehydrated.
Water!
And I was like, I just wanted to, and so I was like, what would be like something, no Twitter comment, no Facebook comment, no one could ever come back at you and get you one-upped on. Like, this is the slam of the millennia. No, like, if you take your head and fire it across state lines to a man, woman, child, place, thing, business, whatever, they can't come back at you and be like, yo mama, because you've won.
I mean, I feel, David, that the frustration appult would very quickly turn into an execution appult.
Yeah, you're confusing, like, a slam with, what, suicide?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
It's like a noble harakiri.
Yeah, this is your last.
You have to get a friend to hold the sword, so when your head goes forward, you chop your head off.
This is 100% the last thing you will do. So I'm saying it's a strong decision to make. But let's say, you're this mild-mannered dude living in, like, let's say Ohio, and, you go your whole life being mild-mannered, people walk on you, do whatever, and you say, you know what? I spent my life being mediocre. Now it's time to make a difference. You get yourself a frustration appult and shoot your head off right at the, like, mechanic down the street who kept fucking you over on the oil changes or whatever. Like, people would think twice about treating other people badly if, at some point, a human head could be shot across the state into your home or business.
I think the rich motherfuckers should start collecting them.
It's trophies.
No, like, as much as you...
Another one has fallen into my lap.
No,
Put it on the pike.
No, there's no amount of money that makes a severed head shot at supersonic speeds through a window in your mansion that would make you go like, I'm totally cool with this.
I feel like your invention of launching decapitated heads across the United States is only hastening us towards that Mad Max future.
Listen, I'm not here to save humanity. I'm here to make $1. And if I can get someone, anyone, because this is going to take money, I need someone to back me. And, we can make the catapult portable and do, like, traveling road shows until we can set up a permanent business. But, like, imagine...
I think you're going to need to charge more than $1 because you're not going to get a lot of repeat customers.
Yeah, I know. Like, we're going to have to be like, okay, $50 a pop or whatever. But imagine, like, me in, like, straw boater, the red and white stripe, I'll have you guys as plants in the audience. And I'll be like, who has a beef against the Dunkin' Donuts for always fucking up the glazing,
I do. Decapitate me first.
Who wants to send a message to these fat cats in Washington that it's not okay that the iced tea comes without lemon 9 times out of 10? And so you guys will get the crowd all amped up or whatever. And, as soon as you see one of these dudes in the crowd is weak, you give him a nice little shove forward. I'll point him out with my cane, and then he'll be on the spot. And he can't say no, right? He can't say no
With his bamboo cane.
Yeah, the crowd will be like, "Oh yeah, do it," and then the first one will happen, and then it'll just be like a domino effect. Everybody will be dead, and we'll be rich as shit.
Everybody will be dead, and we will be rich.
I like how 80% of David's plan is peer pressure.
Listen,
Come on.
if 2020 has taught me nothing, is that you can basically bully anyone into anything. So if we, especially with my silver tongue,
David, you really can't. If like I can be like, hey, you have to do this, and I had Karens who have apparently just taken this to, like they've done this so many times. It's like, oh, I have a medical condition. They just keep walking.
But Andy, you have to realize that that's just the other side of the same coin. Like they have a sense of entitlement because, they
haven't received any heads.
Right. But that's the thing. Like if you're one of these, because obviously they call them the 1% for a reason. If the other 99% of them started launching their heads at you, like, just imagine if the 90...
Can't we use rocks?
That's the thing. Imagine if, like, 99%, let's say, obviously the other 99% aren't going to get involved because there's old people and babies. But let's say 45%, all of them just pick up a single rock and throw it. Now imagine if 10% of those people launch their heads at you.
Involved.
It would be the end of inequality. Guarantee it. Listen, I'm a progressive, and I think this frustration of Pult that launches severed heads at the rich is going to save America. Vote for me.
Hi, I'm David Flo from Progressive.
David Flo? I would just change my name to Flovid.
Yeah.
David Flo is stupid.
Flovid. No, David quotation marks Flo Lindblad.
You can't use Flovid. Now you sound like Flovid-19.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'll be Flovid 17 because people like him young.
Nobody will confuse that.
People like him young.
Oh, my God. So here's another thing I wanted to bring up. It is the year 2020.
Is it?
Yes.
As I like to say, tinny.
Just keep that in mind as I go through what I'm about to go through. It is the year 2020. And there are still people in my life who treat texting as if it's the goddamn Pony Express. You know what I'm talking about, Adam? Like, there's someone in that life, Adam, who when you text them, Adam, they take weeks to respond, Adam. And I can ask like 3 or 4 questions in a row, Adam. And then he comes back with one answer. And I know I'm going to have to wait 7 to 10 more weeks to get the other 3. Isn't it just?
But it's reliable.
It's frustrating. You know what I mean? I'm sure we all. I'm not here to name names, Adam. But what I'm saying is, like, sometimes it gets frustrating. and I wouldn't normally give a fuck about it, but now that I'm like booking really hard for this show and all the live streams and stuff, I'm finding out exactly who I can reach out to and be like, hey, want to do something? Nail out a bunch of text messages and done. And I don't have to hammer him for 14 weeks. Meanwhile, I've got other people who are like, how are we doing over there? You thinking about doing the thing that we discussed a couple of weeks ago? And then you went dark on old Dave over here. So I'm saying is, guys.
Oh, Adam's hovering over the hang up button.
No. Listen, here's what I just want to get at. If you've got 3 seconds to look down at your phone, and you say, make a mental note to yourself. If you don't have time to do at least like 2, hold off.
You know what they say. Leave them on read. Or red?
Red, probably.
Leave them on red, and they'll want to suck your dick even more. How much you want to suck Adam's dick right
what?
now?
I thought it was going to rhyme.
Yeah, I also thought it was
Leave
also
them on
gonna...
red, and Dave will give you head.
Yeah, like,
there you go.
That was the layup.
Look, David, I apologize. I don't know how I missed the first message.
I'm just fucking with you, mostly. Like, because it's, I don't know. I just think it's funny that maybe maybe it's my hypervigilance that I'm always on the lookout for someone trying to get my attention. And I kind of wish that I wasn't that way. I wish I could be with that guy who's just like, hey, man, and then just like float away and not be like, I don't know. I've got so many irons in the fire. It's just sometimes I wish I could be like,
and all of my irons are melting.
I want like a robot dummy of me that won't do anything offensive. Maybe not even do anything at all. He could just be a mannequin. There doesn't need to be a robot at all. But I would put him in this chair and I would run off into the forest for a few days just to sort of like decompress or whatever. And everybody could just like come in, talk to the dummy of me and be like, oh, this was the greatest talk ever. I feel like you're finally listening. And then they would leave.
You're such a good listener now, David.
Yeah. It's like
So
once
David,
a month,
the
like
dummy of
clockwork.
you reminded me of this thing. So my wife listens to a podcast that talks about obscure media.
Uh-huh.
And she found this guy named Mr. Zed.
Mr. Zed.
Is that the comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of
So
him.
we looked him up, and he basically acts like a Disney animatronic.
Yeah, that's his whole shtick is he does the robot while doing
the thing
comedy.
is that he was on one comedy competition in the U.S. and he lasted a round because his shtick is funny for maybe 15 seconds.
Well,
But then she started looking him up. And he has a YouTube channel with all these videos on it. I was like, all these look like they're from the early 90s. So we looked him up, and yeah, he had like a kid show
What?
in South Africa.
What?
and he just like, so his thing is like only good for 15 seconds, you're telling me?
It's not very funny, but he acts like an animatronic very good. He's just not a very good comedian.
Well, he's got like a starched up suit and like a
plastic hair.
Yeah, like a Max Headroom head.
Okay, so yeah, he was like, I'm going to be the funniest dancer ever, and he totally forgot to study up on comedy. That's probably what happened.
If you put him in a room and made him act like an animatronic, I wouldn't know the difference.
He's
except
very good at that.
the motherfucker's just not funny. His whole thing is my comedy is about animatronics. Hello,
But
I have a floppy disk.
well, that guy obviously put like dozens of hundreds of hours into that if he's like as good as you're describing it, because it takes like serious dedication to control your body like that. And then just to like half-ass the comedy?
Yeah.
Like, that's half the thing. Like if you're like, oh, I'm going to build a car, and you're like, oh man, there it is. And you look at it and it's this beautiful, like, you can't believe it was made by a human in his garage. And then you look down and the wheels are just like,
Oh, see, David, I was gonna say like a guy who makes this awesome car. He rebuilds it from the ground up, and then you're like, "Are you ready to drive?" He's like, "I ain't got a license."
yeah, or like, you know, it's just like, why, if you're going to be, I'm going to be the most famous blank blank, don't half-ass one of the blanks. Like King Kong was the best ape in the world. He didn't diversify. He was the biggest ape, and that's what he did. He wasn't like, I'm the biggest ape and tap dancer, because he knew that wasn't in his wheelhouse.
I thought he was the best king and the best Kong. He's a very good monarch. And a very good giant ape.
Listen, there are a lot of people out there throwing shade on his ruling style, and I am one of them, because here's the thing. If you're let me ask you this. How many times do you think King Arthur was attacked by dinosaurs and or giant snakes?
Hardly ever.
Right.
Yeah, probably never.
So, ergo, my thing is, I don't think he was a good king. I'm just going to call him Kong of Skull Island. Not a good king, because his constituents, consistently try to murder him, and he's got no recourse.
It's true, and he is walled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he going to do? He's like, yeah, I'm the king. But most kings have, their equivalent of, the Secret Service of the Templars or whatever. He just has his fist through the talking, and eventually I'm sure you get tired of that shit.
I was trying to figure out who was in Kong Skull Island, and all I could think of was Adrian Brody, and he was in the bad.
Yeah, he was in the other one. Wasn't it?
Samuel Jackson.
Oh, what's the guy who always is with Will Ferrell?
John C. Reilly?
John C.
Yeah,
Riley.
John C. Reilly was in there, wasn't he?
He was in
Is
there.
he?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, John Goodman's in there.
Yeah, John Goodman. I want to see that
It
movie,
wasn't a
but
bad movie.
I don't know.
Anyway, the point is, Mr. Zed will be big
Oh.
when the robot uprising happens.
Jesus Christ, that was quite a roundabout we took.
I think that's this whole show.
That's what, I was thinking, as I'm making these notes, and I realize it's happened once every 30 seconds, every minute I've been on the air or recording here, is I realize that I'll be, doing the trivia show or whatever. We'll sit down and they'll say something. I'm like, oh, look, let me pause you there for 1 minute. And then 17 minutes later, I say, now what the fuck were we talking about?
We got done with our other show, a while back, and I was like, we should bring some of that chaotic energy from the old
That's what I keep
podcast
saying.
into here.
Listen, it is fucking, I don't know if maybe that's what people like about us, but I feel like somebody pointed out to me, and now I'm more and more aware, because when I go off on this shit and I'm like sitting here and now I've got like a real person in studio or on the phone or whatever, and I'm like, 1 minute, and then 15 minutes elapse, they're bored as fuck, and I have to like jostle them back awake, and I'm like, do you know what I mean? And they're like, I don't know what we were talking about, and I'm like, don't you remember it was about again? Moral of the story is I'm not happy. So
David, you mentioned the Pony Express. I learned all about the Pony Express.
I'm trying. So here's the thing. So full disclosure, I'm going to give you guys a little insight behind the curtain. I was going to have Krista totally rag your asses with the rewind sound effect this episode just to fuck with you. But
I love that sound effect.
I know. But I can't. She's gone, and I can't have her fuck with you.
Well, you could do it next time. Oh,
Well, now I have to wait at least a couple of times because I can't like if it happens next time, you'll be like, oh, I get it.
David, the ad that the guy took out for riders in the Pony Express essentially read, "We're looking for young men no older than 17 who are wiry and thin, willing to risk death, and are orphans."
Who won't be missed.
That was the thing, man. Like the 1800s, you could be just like a flat out cold-blooded murderer and put it in an ad somewhere. And since there was no safety standard, it was just like, yeah, I'll do it.
Killing for hire.
That's every job. Like Pony Express, if you want to like work on a ranch, they're like, well, there's a really good chance that you'll get your skull crushed by one of our cows, and the pay is $4.50 a week and a tin of beans. How do you feel about that? That was the entire
beans.
that was the entire cowboy existence.
That was David, and I also learned that Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman.
A very good one.
Yeah, that's one of those sniglets you hear about, and I don't care because I don't like Woody Harrelson.
But do you like hitmen?
It depends. Usually they're not very compelling characters. Like when you spend your life honing a craft that essentially makes sure that you're always by yourself, you're not a very interesting dude to talk to.
True. Oh.
I mean, think about it.
Bye, everyone.
It's like those dudes who hit the gym every day. You see the dude and he's like, 327 stacked and he's ripped and shit. You talk that, you say, wow, what a fucking body on that dude. But since he spent so much time on that, since he spent so much time on that body, you start asking him questions and it's always like a dead end road. You have to be like, thanks, bye.
They've sacrificed all their social skills and other life experience.
Yeah.
For sick gains.
And listen, I would rather have whatever skill set I have, which is yet to be determined. I understand.
Yeah, we're still figuring that out.
But I don't know if I would give up whatever, mysterious, tenebrous skills that I do possess for like really big biceps, because what do you do with that then? Like unless you're around something heavy, then you're just...
I could lift that.
Yeah. Like, I understand, like, people who are, like, strong get all the play because it's like, man, it's like dudes who own trucks. They're always your best friend when you need something moved. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone just keeps a strong dude around, like, in their circle of friends because they're like, hey, man, I got this couch, or I got this guy who needs to, win at an arm wrestling competition, or I'm a trucker trying to save my son, or whatever.
Were we doing this show when we had to move Larson and Angela again?
I
don't remember.
Think so. I remember at least one round of
several
stories.
Times, and
yeah.
after the first time, we were like, never again unless you bring fucking help.
Right? Yeah, because I think didn't we go over all the weird things you found under their bed?
No. That's when they lived here, and
right.
we were moving them out of here.
Right, but okay. So you went a step beyond, and we're like, yeah. Now that you're out of our hair, let's get you back in there so I can give you a hand moving from one place to another.
Well, they moved from one apartment to another apartment because they got a roommate and they wanted an extra room. And the first time that we moved that, everybody did... Well, first, we showed up, and they hadn't packed most of the house.
Why would they? I mean, it's not like it's important. They're not burning their own time. It's you suckers who are going to come over and do all the shit for them.
And then nobody did any moving except for...
You?
Me and Adam.
Wait a minute. Guys, hold on. My jaw just hit the floor. If you'll give me a minute, I've got to go find it.
Pick that up, please.
And we were promised pizza. What we got was bad burritos.
Yeah, shitty Taco Bell.
Here's what happens with you guys. You finally get the lice out of your hair, and then you run back and stick your head against that kid who you definitely don't want to be around's head.
I got lonely, David.
They're very nice people.
I'm sure. But there are nice people who you definitely don't do things for because you know they will... It's gonna suck. Like, there are people who I love, who I would never help, because helping would be doing the job for them. And that ain't my style, dog.
Anyway, to rewind, I would love to hang out with a guy who his only input into any conversation is, I could lift that.
I don't want to, like, I know people like that, and it is so, like, what do you, every time I'm forced to be around them, like, in polite company, there are two types of people. There are people who can put their head down, do the work. They are soldiers. They are worker bees. They do not have a creative bone in their body. But if you tell them, hey, you need to get a job and be the best at that job and be the foreman and then be the supervisor, blah, 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 they'll say, aye, aye, chief, and fucking do it. And then there's people like me who don't know what the fuck they're going to do, and spend their time doing, like, literally anything because you have to express yourself creatively because that's somehow important, obviously. So
David in the movie Taken, I have a particular set of skills. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, not very good. Like if
they might
somebody,
be kind of annoying for you.
Yeah, like if Taken had centered around like somebody really quickly and adeptly making like perler bead art, or like if someone was like, hey man, we need like 14 survival bracelets made out of paracord, I'd be like, I'm on it, dude. But
I still have my paracord bracelet.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad. I'm cleaning out my closet. I found a whole bunch of them I've made.
I pray that I'll never need it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You keep it because you think you might, but you hope you never do.
See, David sewed garrote wire into them.
Yeah,
And when he uses the Manchurian Candidate words were activated.
yeah. Like each of your bracelets has like 14 feet of diamond neck saw.
Yeah, real quick, just give us part of the activation phrase.
Delta Alpha Oyster.
I gotta kill John Lennon.
Shit! We used the wrong tape. Wouldn't that be embarrassing?
Just programming tape, and then you taped over John Lennon's Imagine.
Yeah, but that was the day. That was what happened back in the days of analog. You just have a whole bunch of mind blanking tapes, you know, and they'd come in the clear plastic cases that they want you to label because, like, obviously they're not like, hey, here at Sony we make these chromium type tapes for the best mind blanking. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to sell it just like off the rack and be like, make your own labels, and then you don't, and then you end up putting like Khrushchev into a dog
Every time.
What I'm saying here, guys, computers really helped mad science.
He's not wrong. You don't need those big tubes anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, here's one of the crazy things. Imagine if science had caught on faster than, like, morality. Imagine if, like, the dude during, you know, whatever war, committing whatever hate crime, or the dude who, like, was trying to transplant monkey heads onto other bodies and shit. Imagine if he had today's science and yesterday's scruples.
Oh, God.
What could we have? Imagine.
Today science and Nazi scientist scruples.
Yeah, like if science, like if someone in the 30s was like, you know what, this science thing's gonna take off, and he was right, and it was like, bam, and we got to like 2020 technology in 1950, and we've got scientists who are like, yeah, well, of course everyone should be sterilized. Now take this pill, you know, and then we'd have like, we would probably have like mech suits and flying cars and shit, but it would be at a terrible price, because imagine how many, like, just for giggles, people would be like, you know, how many times do you think we built the flying car out of hamsters just to see if we could? And then, you know, like the crash test was abysmal.
Oh yeah, these mech suits are fantastic, but the batteries are babies.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
I call this one Neo.
Why? What I'm saying is, why isn't there any historical fiction about that? And if there is,
steampunk,
Wolfenstein.
Well, no, yeah, but I mean, today the stories would take place today because the evil scientists of the past got the technology of the present.
Oh, I believe Glenn Beck wrote some of that.
It's like if Marty McFly went back in time and gave, like, who was big in the 40s? Well, let's go even by further.
Big Bopper?
Yeah, let's say they use the Big Bopper and Atom Bomb. No. What if you gave, like, I would just, if you could, like, do this in a vacuum, I think it would be hilarious. Or maybe like in a computer. Let's say it's the future, we got holograms. We're on the Star Deck, the Starfleet holodeck, rather.
Star Deck.
I would be like, computer, bring Isaac Newton here and put me under the apple tree where he's about to get hit in the head. And, like,
give him all of Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, no, let's say, like, I would say, you know, run this simulation. I will run up and, like, jump over his head and save him from the apple. Like, no! And then I would,
Look out.
you know, he would be like, whoa, that was close. I almost had an epiphany. I'm like, don't worry about it, dude. And then I whip out like a smartwatch and I'm like, just take this and let me see how it goes. And then I'd be like, computer, take me to the future. And I'd be like, whoa, what happened here? Probably nothing, because he would not be able to charge it after the first time.
Well, and also Isaac Newton was kind of a dick.
Right.
Do you know what he was trying to do when he discovered calculus and gravity? Create a philosopher's stone.
Yeah, but
What the fuck, science? And when he discovered gravity, he was like, "Yeah, I discovered all these formulas for this shit." And another guy was like, "What? Did you write it down?" He's like, "Nah."
listen. If you learn nothing from history, it's like literally everyone was a dick, though. Like you got carte blanche back then. Like it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a president, a ruler, a scientist, or whatever. Like everybody was just a dick because that's what you had to do. Like everybody, loves to get up all in these old timey people and like, oh man, what would it be like? And I guarantee you, everyone was being a dick because number one, no indoor plumbing, and that is enough to that's enough. Like, just imagine spending the rest of your life having to leave the comfort of your home to crap in a hole. Automatically, everybody's a dick.
But what's the one thing we could bring somebody back then that would let them skip a whole bunch of technology?
You'd have to bring back like a book or something. It would have to be something that wouldn't run out of batteries because then you're fucked. It would have to. It would have to be.
Bring some textbooks full of stuff that they could look at.
Yeah, like if you brought a VCR manual or something.
Well, no. Why are you? So, David, just go back to whatever, because most of our technology is based on math and shit. Go back to the early mathematicians and be like, thump here.
Yeah, like that would be funny if like here this would be the greatest history prank ever.
Just give it to Pythagoras. He's like, my theorem.
Yeah, buckle up. You're fucking. Oh, you stuff. It's okay. So yeah, just imagine like going back Bill and Ted style, where Pythagoras is like scrawling on like a chalkboard. And he's like about to do that aha moment, and you just pop in behind him and you're like, yo, dude, check it out. And it's like a book that has like his name on it, and he's like, what the fuck? And then his head explodes.
Oh, no.
Wasn't what we were going for.
But you'd have to give it to him like way earlier, or give it to like, but that's the only thing you could do is like you'd have to be the world's and history's biggest dick. Because you're essentially taking somebody's accomplishments and giving it to somebody who they base their work on.
Okay, David.
Yeah, we're recreating the second Star Trek movie.
Yeah, you'd have to give like Alexander Graham Bell an iPhone to be like, yeah, fuck you, Steve Jobs. Everything you did was based off of this dude's work, and now he's getting like some future tech.
I'm going to go back in time. We're going to find Jesus and tell him where not to be.
Ooh,
give him the Bible. Be like, here.
The Bible's a real.
Your dad's a murderer of you.
Yeah, I'm sure he would read the Bible and be like, you know what, this all makes sense.
Oh shit, it's not in Arabic. Fuck.
Yeah, imagine, hopping up on him in like, whatever, 0 B or AD, BC, handing him a book. It's like the King James version, and English isn't even a thing yet. And you're like, fuck, figure it out, and then get back to me. And then you just hop back forward in time.
At least with the mathematics textbooks, they could look at the math itself.
That's true.
Yeah, but
even then there's some translation issues.
Right, because if you go back too far and they're still using Roman numerals, they're going to look at the Arabic numerals and be like, what the fuck? And like, you'll just be stalling them.
Oh, I know what we can do. An MP3 player full of this podcast.
There we go.
But that
will
then
advance civilization.
Sure, but here's the rub. The battery, guys. The battery runs out. Right. You can't.
Solar-powered.
If you pass on these heavy tomes of knowledge like our catalog, you would need. But then, do you trust like a Neolithic civilization with a solar panel?
Sure, why not?
I mean, would the easiest thing just be to like drop a lump of like uranium or something in their lap
and die?
Yeah, get cancer.
They would die.
I mean, it's not. Obviously, it's dangerous in ways they wouldn't be able to understand. But if they know that there's this rock that always makes water boil, would that advance things enough?
I don't think so. Because like, here's the thing: humans are so stupid. It's like this pathetically slow crawling process. So, but like, imagine if someone from the 24th century came back to today and gave us something. I don't think we would have any idea how it works, and we're the present.
And we're the smartest we'll ever be.
Yeah, and we are the
Getting
smartest.
Dumber every day, actually.
Yeah. Well, there's never been a better time to be a human being. And I don't think even now, like if someone came back, 100 years and was like, here's what a smartphone looks like, boom, heads would explode because you can't conceptualize it.
Yeah.
David, don't just be a human being. Be a human
doing. You know what's next?
Simpsons, more Simpsons quotes?
A human going.
Oh, yes.
Idiot. Simpsons quote. It was right there.
Sorry, I haven't watched it. that episode very much.
If you're not a human being, you should be a human doing. And what comes
I don't know
next?
what either of you are talking about.
A human going. God damn it. It's fucking what's his nuts. Andy, God, help me out here. Dude's name. Brad Jones? Bridget Jones?
Nope. Like I said, I haven't watched that one very much.
Come on, man. I've seen the first 8 seasons ad nauseum, but I can't.
Oh man, Disney Plus is great for that.
I can't anymore. I can't with all these streaming services. My attention is spread so thin right now.
I mean, this is a whole nother issue.
That's the thing. Like,
Oh, time travel gives them a subscription to Disney Plus. They can watch Hamilton.
just because, like, I don't think musical theater just because it was. What are we trying to do with that? I don't get
I
it.
don't know.
Just like,
It's just a very nice musical.
wow, fuck. Why not bring back Cats and be like, see this? No, don't. Please.
We bought that
What? Why?
because I needed David. It was the beginning.
The movie?
Yeah. It was the beginning of the quarantine. We hadn't seen anybody in weeks. I needed something to make me laugh.
But it's not the butthole cut.
Oh my God. There are so many things, Andy, out there that can make you laugh. You're like, you know, it would be funny if I inhaled some helium and made my voice high, but I do have this argon gas, so I'm going to use that instead. Like, you had so many options, Andy, and then you gave them, oh my God, Cats.
I want to get that stuff that makes your voice deeper.
So funny.
Yeah, but then you got to turn upside down so it makes sure it gets all loud.
Got to have somebody hold you up by the ankles and
I had
shake you
never
out.
seen Cats before, and as I'm watching, I was like, this is inexplicably like the horniest movie anybody's ever made.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, no, the play's like that too, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's so, like, there's so many, whatever. There are so many milestones in furry culture. I feel like Cats is like the New Testament of furries.
I don't know. I think Cats is part of the foundation.
I think the Disney Robin Hood came before Cats.
But
I mean, sure, if you want to go back even farther, the Egyptians had animal heads on their gods.
right, but the I don't remember any sexy dances in Robin Hood, number one. And number two, Disney has always had anthropomorphic animals. If you want to say there's a cartoon out there that did and is probably still fucking up kids, it's The Last Unicorn.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what about Space Jam?
I never saw Space Jam, so I'm
never
not
saw
in
Space
that,
Jam?
No, but I'm actually surprised that I have not run into someone organically at this point in my life that has like a tree fetish based off that obnoxious, huge titted tree And what was let's talk about
And
this.
the titty harpy
Yeah.
in The Last Unicorn.
I don't remember a tree in the last.
Yeah,
Unicorn.
there's like a tree that's like, oh, and she's like smothering the wizard with her titties.
She's an extremely
that part.
rapey tree that tries to get with the wizard super hard, and he's like not into it. And it's like
She's like the Evil Dead tree if the Evil Dead tree was your drunk friend's mother.
yeah. Let's put it this way: if the gender roles were swapped, you'd never see something like this.
No.
But then there was also like that flappy titty
Yeah,
harpy.
the tit
I think it was
harpy.
terrifying.
Like, and I get, so you want to be like, okay, here's this scary creature where it's got like, it's basically a vulture and it's got fur, these huge talons. And they're like, you know what's scariest of all? 2 fucking double F hanging milk bags on this giant like murder bird.
I
And
do like The Last Unicorn though.
listen, it's a great storytelling. And it's, honestly, I think it's not super, like, dark enough to be like, no, kids shouldn't watch it. Because the story is complex enough that adults can like it, but like even as a kid, let's go past all the weird nudity.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy it for the skeleton on the hearth.
Yeah,
You
the,
can-
the one that wants wine.
Yeah, I love him. You can still enjoy it for like the weird Billy Goat vibe the old dude in the castle gives. Like,
I love the how like they could have chosen like a nice fantasy soundtrack. No,
yeah, they were like, this score
soundtrack by America.
They're like, you know what? We're not gonna go fantasy. We're going contemporary. What is America doing right now? And they're like, I don't know, sir. And he's like, the band.
Can we get the Carpenters? No, fuck.
Could you imagine The Last Unicorn with the Carpenters
Or the Bee Gees.
or the? Oh my God. That might even make up for one of the 2 sets of jugs in that movie. Oh, and P.S. too. On top of the unsettling nudity, you also have some tantalizing nudity. Because when the unicorn turns into a woman, she is just like this naked lady with this straight hair, and this big nose wizard shows up, and he's like, "Oh, boner time! It's magic!" And it's like the
Magic.
it's the most confusing. Like anytime you mix. So the Last Unicorn is like this weird like no man's land of like fear, comedy, and like semi-boner.
So like, I was gonna say like any Don Bluth movie, but really that's just like Space Ace. And I was watching something about Don Bluth movies the other day where it's like Don Bluth was at Disney, and eventually they were like, "You need to leave because everything you make is a horror story."
It's getting weird. Yeah, it's getting weird. It's like if you take. Whatever, like 3 of your favorite foods and put them into a blender, like all apart, they're great. But if you cram them all into this one thing, it just makes you like feel weird and your stomach gets upset and your wiener is involved for some reason, which is always like, that's always a mind fuck. Like when you're 8 years old and you're watching these cartoons with these huge birds with these boobs, and then you cut to like the unicorn who's now like a super hot naked lady standing by a lake, and like, what am I supposed to be feeling like as a viewer?
So confused.
There's like a homely woman that's yelling at her like, "How dare you!"
So Andy, do you have one of your Reddit articles for us?
One of your classic Reddit articles?
I did not make a theme song this week because I had a lot of school stuff.
I had obviously I had plans to play something, but that went down the drain. So hey, here we are.
Here's a lovely article. It's "Am I the asshole for forcing my vegan daughter to cook meat?"
Refresh me. Like, there's vegan, there's vegetarian, right?
And that's pretty much
different. They are. Vegetarians can still eat cheese and eggs and milk.
It depends. That's the thing. There's like everybody lands on there somewhere, but as long as you eat something that's produced from an animal, you cannot be a vegan.
Well, then nobody's truly a vegan.
Is that true?
Do you drive a car?
Well, you're not eating a car.
Yeah, but you're still using up animal product.
Yeah, but I'm not. Vegan refers to diet. I'm not saying. Okay. I'm not saying hippie.
I thought it went as far as like not using animal product at all.
It can, but what I'm saying is classically veganism the term simply extends to diet. Like if you want to be a hippie and go beyond that, by all means. But when you say I'm a vegan, you say you can at least, what is 100% gridlocked written in stone is no animal products. Eating. Okay.
Eating.
You can they have to put like non-animal based gas in their cars.
It's soybean oil.
Only ethanol. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, the corn
this
stuff
is from corn.
But here's the thing, like if you're so in touch with everything and you think everything is so beautiful and precious and nothing should die, like what will you do when the day will come when science finally finds that plants have some sort of base rudimentary intelligence?
I was just saying that the other day.
Then what the fuck do you do, motherfuckers? It's the food chain. Anyway. I don't know. Sun gazing.
My daughter, 16, has been vegan for about a year. Me, my husband, and her brother, 14, have tried to be as supportive as possible.
Okay.
We aren't a family that eats meat daily, so it wasn't that hard for me to accommodate her. When I do cook meat, I also make something else for her and keep the side dishes common for all. She does have some separate dishes, but most are common, and I clean it if I have to cook it for her.
Yes, I mean this sounds so far so good, like. But
yeah,
this is shaping up to be more like do your fucking chores and not like barbecue this meat carcass, you fucking hippie. Look at that. It's dead.
We bought a cow you need to slaughter.
Yeah, that's you're in charge of dinner.
Look,
you throw the axe.
Slut, we're eating puppy tonight.
Oh my god, no. So tender.
A few months into the vegan lifestyle, she tried to convince us to go vegan and would get increasingly angry when we said no.
That's always the worst, though, isn't it?
Anytime anyone in your life finds something new, you run the risk of losing a friend.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've pushed a lot of relationships.
Me and my husband shut that behavior down hard and told her that she can follow whatever diet she wanted, but she can't not expect others to.
For real.
She sulked for a while, but stopped doing that.
Good.
Last weekend, I cooked the family a big pot of chili. She says a big pot of chili, but then says a small vegan one and a large beef one. So you cooked 2 pots of chili.
Okay.
You're a bad storyteller.
But one of them is small.
But if you put it all in one pot, it would make one big pot. So,
true.
Loophole.
It would make one chili with multiple ingredients, yes. So that I can refrigerate it and use it for the next week. The next day, I found the fridge empty of both of the chilies, and it turns out my daughter decided that we were being too callous about meat.
Oh.
But why throw away the
Why throw away
veggie
the
chili?
vegan?
Well, look, those beans didn't do anything to you.
Maybe she was just assuming that if both chilies were gone, they would think that somebody else did it.
Like it was a burglar.
A burglar.
The chili bandit struck again, guys. Oh my god.
She felt the smell was too much, and when she opened the fridge door, she said that she couldn't find anything from the fridge after that without gagging or puking.
Shut up. Chili smells good, you fart knocker. Don't lie. Like, if you're gonna lie, you want to throw out your family's food, throw your fucking family's food out. I don't care. You're a little shithead. But don't lie. Food smells good, asshole. Like, you're not like, and it was fresh chili. There's no way this bitch is like, ew, gross.
Well,
like,
I assume it was made with the same ingredients as the vegan chili, just
Right.
with like crumbles in it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say chili like smells like meat.
Alex and I have a shit ton of vegan like crumbles in the fridge. We love eating it because, well, one, I need more veggies in my diet, and two, it's just good.
but here's
You
the
heard it
thing.
here first.
Sure, but here's the thing.
Eat that vegan meat.
Right, yeah, and also she's only a few months into this experience. There's no way, after going your entire life eating an omnivore diet and then suddenly stopping and then like turning your nose up at chili, pull your head out of your ass. This bitch is the
We know
asshole.
someone who was vegan for years and then had to wean herself back onto chicken.
Yeah, because your body is literally devoid of the microbiome that you need to break down
Yeah,
meat.
you stopped eating meat, so then all the living things in your guts that was eating the meat died.
Yeah, like that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, I don't know why this does it to my stomach." Because your body isn't set up for it, dumbass. Like if your body is like, "I don't know how to handle this," you get diarrhea. That's your door prize.
Anyway,
That's your cross to bear.
And that's the thing. Everybody's like, "I'm going to pay for this later." You know you're going to do it to yourself. So I don't like if you shit your pants. Don't be like, "Oh, what?" Like you knew. Come on,
Who saw this coming?
come on, guys.
wow. She told me that I now need to throw out all the vegan food in the fridge and restock them
Pardon?
because it smells like meat.
Oh, like does that include like vegetables? Because there's no way. Like, oh, this celery smells like chili. Like, shut the fuck up.
Could tell her she needs to get a job and restock her own damn fridge.
True. Or she
She's
could.
16. She can get a job right now. It's
True.
Yeah, she could go down to Sprouts and stock those shelves.
Adam needs to tell you all of his Sprout stories.
Oh yes.
I need at least one.
Me and my husband were livid.
Obviously.
Wasting food is never okay with us, and that was a lot of
Yeah,
food.
this
Yeah.
seems totally fair at this point.
Listen, like if you've never made chili before, here's just like the barest bones of concepts. You're gonna make chili. You're gonna have a fuck ton of chili because every chili recipe serves 40 people,
It serves an army.
and that's every time we have chili here, we have it for weeks. And that's
See, I make it, and then we freeze whatever's left over, and it lasts for like 6 months.
yeah,
And then you
because
put the cubes like in your drinks.
Yep.
yeah, the chili.
Hey, Adam, do you want a whiskey and chili?
Yeah, you get a chili
Ooh,
hito
smoky.
because it comes with mint.
Yes, I love a nice whiskey, a minty whiskey chili.
It might be good in a Bloody Mary.
It's rum. It's rum.
Oh yeah.
It's rum, chili cubes, and mint. Muddled, obviously. Muddle up that
yeah.
chili.
We're not animals.
Yeah,
Adam, that kind of sounds like something I want to try.
that's
Chili
disgusting.
cubes in a Bloody Mary.
Oh God. Oh no, Bloody Mary might not be terrible, but there's a good chance it will be.
Way to keep an open mind.
Hey,
I told her I'm going to continue using the vegan products in the fridge, and she can either eat it or not eat it, but I'm not wasting food.
but I think it's our parents' fault because the only example that you ever get like when you're wasting food is like there's kids in China who could blah 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 blah, and it's like
To China.
that's not a real life metaphor. Like I can't picture a kid in like when you're 7 years old, you don't understand like the legitimate plight of children in China working in factories, but your parents will just give you the cliff notes and be like, there's hungry kids in China. There's hungry kids everywhere.
Well, we got to get this shit on ice and get it in the mail pronto.
Yeah, like if these Chinese kids are so hungry, good. That means the
Send
rest
us
of the
to
world is
Foxconn
okay.
factory.
Well, if it's like, but that's the thing. It's always only Chinese children. Like apparently, if you're trying to convince your kids to eat their food, Africa's fine, India's
Oh,
fine,
yeah,
but
they're doing totally fine in Africa.
China, they are hungry and they would love that chili. So eat it.
They love chili.
Check out the China, the
That's what they
Chinese chili.
So they don't
They
tell
wrote
you
a song.
about, the Chinese. The whole week she kept making faces at the dinner while she ate.
Like funny faces, because that'd be
yes.
fun.
Just the gall that she would throw out the chili and then demand the rest of the food be thrown out.
Her eyebrows were like two dancing caterpillars. My mouth fell open and green beans spilled onto the floor.
As a punishment, I gave her the recipe and told her she needs to buy and then cook it next weekend. She yelled and begged, but I stood firm. In the end, she did it.
Okay.
And now she loves chili.
Honestly, like, these are two so, like, mild cases of asshole. Like, all you need is, like, a topical ointment. Like, these aren't red, scabies, bedbugs infested assholes that we usually get off of Reddit. This is, like, your pink eye of asshole. This is your, like, contact dermatitis of asshole. Like,
I don't know, like, the teenager part of this, it is a common sort of act, but that's a pretty big asshole move as far as I'm concerned.
right, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. You have to... I'm giving a teenage allowance because for some reason everybody likes to cut teenager slack. Like, I wasn't an asshole.
You really do have to, though, because, God, the hormones.
It's true.
Yeah. When the cooking was finished, I told her that wasting food is never okay in this house, and pointed out that instead of me using X amount of meat, she had actually used 2X the amount of meat, so 2 times the amount of meat, because
Yeah.
she threw away the first one.
So she used twice the amount of meat than the recipe called for?
No. So
Right, okay,
the
I
mom's
get it.
basically pointing
Yeah.
out, is like, you
I see.
basically used twice as much meat as we would have had to because you threw out the first time.
over the course of 2 chilies.
I want, if you are within the sound of my voice and you care to share your opinion on this, I want to know. If you're a vegan and you're one of these people who are like, animals are precious or whatever and yada yada yada, like, what makes animals so precious that we humans are the only ones who need to...
faces.
Why are the humans the only ones who need to remove themselves from the natural food chain?
Yeah. I mean,
For
and
what?
I think one of the biggest arguments against that is, like, cruelty to animals.
I get that.
Which, I can get that part, but cutting it out entirely is not...
Let's say you're
Right.
one of those people who is like, I care about the plight of humanity. Sure, great, fine, whatever. God bless you, sister. But maybe focus on the humans that are suffering before I give a fuck about a chicken who has a bad 12 weeks. Like, you know, forget about the kids starving in China. There are kids in America who have fucking shit to show for their lives. And you are like, don't eat that hamburger because that cow had a bad... Shut the fuck... There are people who don't have shoes. There are adults living on the streets, and you want to be like, but eating a chicken is so cruel.
Chicken. I'm Jeremy Farts.
I'm Jeremy Farts.
I've heard of him.
This is the first time I've met.
Now she started crying and yelling at me about how awful and disgusting it was because I not only forced her to buy meat,
Sure.
I also forced her to cook it. Now I'm
Right.
telling her that it was her fault.
But that's the thing. Like, logically, if you're going to apply critical thinking, the parent is in the right.
Yeah.
There's no...
So basically it ends, am I the asshole? I don't think so.
I think there's a little bit of an asshole in it. Like, you
Sure, there was some spitefulness in it.
do the you're making us food, or do the you made us waste X amount of. Like, don't do 2 nails in that coffin. Like, the lesson is learned. You don't need to kick them while they're down.
If anything, she's going to hate meat even more now.
Right. You're just you're hammering in that dogma, which is whatever. But that's life. So I mean, there's assholes on both sides, but neither of them would make me get up from the dinner table, if you know what I mean.
I'd finish my chili.
Yeah, I mean, like, either one of the, like, let's say I'm boxed in with either one of these variety of assholes. It's not going to put me off my dinner.
I got one short one for you here, and
Okay.
he's already been marked asshole.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Oh man, foregone conclusion. Am I right?
Am I the asshole for laughing and putting my head in my hands when my wife tried to make me take a testosterone test?
Laughing and putting my hand,
Head in my hands.
my hand in my heads.
If you're telling me this man is an asshole, this must go off the rails somewhere.
I am just so frustrated right now.
Okay.
My 28 male, wife 29 female,
I thought his wife was a 28-year-old man.
My 28 male wife. What?
continues to try to blame the fact that I'm not attracted to her on me factors. Maybe it's my work, or my family, or my weight.
Sure.
Maybe now it is my hormone level.
Wait.
Me.
So wait, she's saying that he's not attracted to her because he's too fat?
No, because he's got too much work, or his family's thing.
Well, you
or
said
he's
weight.
fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's saying you need to be less fat so you'll find me more attractive?
I guess.
No.
That's
I think she's trying to find a reason for erectile dysfunction.
Oh, well, but that's the thing. Like, you're still saying fat broke your boner, which it can. Like, inflammatory diets can wreak havoc on the old Johnson.
Habits on the phallus.
Don't fuck around with this thing. It's important.
Use tweezers on it.
Tweezers?
Yeah, to flip the pages.
No.
So, my wife gave birth to our twins a year ago, and I haven't been attracted to her since.
I can get that. Like, here's the thing, guys. take it from. What'll happen is there are two.
telling.
No, here's the thing. Like there are two camps you can jump into. You after you have a kid, you're either so fucking tired all the time you don't give a fuck about sex, or the vision of that kid popping out of that portal is so fresh you need time for it to sort of deaden.
I have heard other anecdotes to that effect.
That's why I stayed back, dude. I was like a 50s dad. I was like, I'll be up here at the head of the table. She gave birth on a dining room table. I was up at the head of the bed.
Okay.
And when he popped out, I was like, yep, that's a baby, all right. Because I was like, I don't want certain images.
I think that's totally fair, though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. You light up one cigar in your baby's hospital room, and everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it's against the law.
All of a sudden, everybody's yelling at you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you got a 3-foot-long cigar that's a 1.5 feet wide. And everyone's
Dude,
like,
that was a
excuse
blunt.
me? Well, yeah, I was.
I just needed to calm down, okay?
Yeah, it was a victory blunt the size of like a Subway 6-inch. And I was like, party on.
Family-sized.
She's had huge stretch marks and is still about 70 pounds over her pre-baby weight. Her personal hygiene is also low. He doesn't give any examples of this, but
Just take his word for it.
I've been trying to give subtle clues, like let's get a healthy meal
Prescription.
subscription. Or let's walk around the trails after dinner. Or I talk about what perfume she would like to wear.
Sure. Okay. So there's nothing like, there doesn't seem anything about this guy that's like nailed as an asshole yet.
However, today she asked if next time I went to the doctor I could get a testosterone test. I looked at her in disbelief. Then she said there could be a medical reason for my lack of attraction and kept pushing it.
There's a chance she's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it is a possibility.
I mean, she's trying to, like, if he had just come out and be like, hey, can you, like, let's work out and do some weight
Right.
training because you're still a little chubby.
Right. And that's the
Be
thing.
careful
Like,
with that.
I don't think, here's what no one will ever tell you. Hints don't work. You want to hint at something, you might as well just get over the fact that it's never going to happen.
Yeah, in my old age, I've come to realize that communication is really the key.
Yeah, if you spend your life hinting at something, no, you will go to your grave and shooting your head off of a catapult at the person who you constantly hinted at, and that'll be the only time they ever know is when your head hits their porch. Mm-hmm. What you say is, "Hey, can you lick my ass?" You'll get an immediate yes or no. Case closed.
I couldn't take it and started laughing and putting my hands on my head and shaking it.
He Picarded it.
My wife got extremely pissed and said that you didn't have to be 60 to have erectile dysfunction.
Wait a minute. Did he shake it like Taylor Swift with his face in his hands? No,
Yeah, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
No, see that I think would be, if I said something to Krista and she put her head in her hands and started shaking it like Taylor Swift, I'd be like, hey, that's at least disrespectful.
I finally snapped and said I did get hard in the right circumstances, and here's where we get a little weird.
Uh-oh. I get hard all the time.
Oh, no.
In parentheses, and it's true. Every time I go back to the college campus where I do research, I feel intense attraction for all the women there.
Oh,
Wait
no.
a minute. Wait. What? So what you're telling me, dude, that you, dude, get hot and bothered around college-aged hot chicks?
I gotta go there to do my research.
You better go see a doctor, dude. Research.
Get squirted off campus again for my research.
It sounded like you said squirted off campus. Holy shit.
Now she's saying I've devastated her beyond belief and that her body will never be the same. That's true for some women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honey, it's not that you're ugly. It's just that I'm only attracted to hot bitches. It's not
need to
you.
be a
It's
college
that I'm
girl.
only attracted to hot bitches that I didn't force to carry my children.
Yeah. Hey, man, blame my penis. He's the one in charge. Like, hey, I asked him the other day. I said, hey, are you into frumpy housewives who let themselves go? And he was like, no, I'm into hot college chicks who are constantly doing Kegels and are showing camel toe 9/10 of the time.
He's the one not working. I got a job.
Am I the asshole? I can't help how disgusted I am about stretch marks. And I can't help how my previously dead sense of attraction goes all the way to 100 when I see women where I work, and I hate my wife for denying that I'm the problem at all.
Okay, here's the thing. This dude is the asshole because
100%.
100% of these dudes, and you know, everybody knows a dude like this. They get with someone, they get in, you know, beyond where they can easily get out. Things settle, and they're like, oh, fuck. Like, you have to realize that your life is like a river. Shit is going to settle, and you're going to have to fucking prepare for it. You
I do like
can't.
that he's just like, hey, I can't help it that I'm like jerking it all the time at college.
Oh man, I saw this bitch. It said pink on her butt, and then I made pink on my lap because I.
Pink?
I think he does need to see a doctor.
No, because he only had Pepto Bismol to yank it with.
Oh, weird.
He's got a bad tummy.
Well, he just carries around a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. It turns out it's also a really great lubricant.
Really
Yeah.
sticks around.
I mean, it's viscous. It's like 10W30.
Hey, look, it looks like I fucked a blob.
Yeah, and plus, low pH, no chance of conditioning your pubes a little bit, maybe.
But your cum comes out black because of the iron.
All the bismuth.
The bismuth. That's a deep cut, Adam.
It's just like I could have seen like he's edging on asshole for a while there, where it's like, why didn't you just tell your wife that
Right, because
Yeah, right.
this and that? And then he's like, but now I just want to slam them teenagers.
It wasn't even that big of a request to have. If he was going to his doctor anyways to ask for that test, and if that's all she wanted, he easily could have like put that to rest if it was or wasn't a problem.
they're not even interested in like keeping up the facade anymore.
Yeah.
Which is both ways. Like, you can't be like, hey, you're not being hot enough for me, while you're sitting there with like, 17 inches of pubes and a beer gut. Like, you
Wow.
That's quite a bit.
people let their self go, and especially in quarantine when like everybody's like, well, since I'm not going out, I'm just gonna let the brush reclaim the land.
Got to do
David
some
over here with
controlled
a foot
burns.
by the foot of pubes.
But that's it though. Like, and you can always, I fucking hate dudes like this, because then what do? You just have like this blank-eyed Stepford Wives marriage for the rest of your life, and your kid just watch this hollow marionette of like, until like obviously this marriage is headed for divorce. He's gonna bang someone, after hours, under the bleachers at the track at the college. It's
Gotta go to my lab.
he's gonna get some Just for Men, spray it on, get himself like a cool JanSport, and be like, "Hey, bros, let's do some wicked ollies in the parking lot." And he's gonna
His lab is actually a girl from Lambda Alpha Beta.
fuck. I want to see him like really trying to fit in with the other students. Like, he's wearing the tweed vest with the leather patch, but he's wearing like cut off jean shorts, like doing kick flips and shit with his homies.
You better take notes, Andy, so you can fit in at college better.
True. I do wear the tweed vest, but I don't have the shorts. I do kick flips though.
What you want is the mullet of outfits. You want party on the bottom, business on top. So like from the waist up, we're going like button up, long sleeve, sweater vest, and coat. But down below, we're talking like, braided belt. We're talking like Jinko jeans. We're talking about Skechers. We're talking about fun party atmosphere from
You can
the
wear a
waist
nice
down.
tie, but you're wearing a denim jacket over that says "bad boy."
Yeah.
And then your bottom rocker says, "What you gonna do?"
I also rhinestoned it up, so I'm real classy. I'm like the Dolly Parton of college students.
Andy has a bedazzled leather jacket with tassels that says "Disco and."
Yep. And people are like, disco and what? And then I lift up the jacket, and it's like I got those pants on that say juicy.
Disco and juicy. Oh my god. Holy shit, guys. Great job. You know what? I think it's about that time where we start wrapping up the show. And you know how I like to do it? With a round of staff recommendations.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Oh, there's
So-
those sound drops.
I know. Whoop. There's the fart. That's what we're known for mostly, is the farts. What I want to recommend is, so this is like a million years ago, but on Facebook, I was like, I keep spilling coffee on myself. Dude on the Facebook was like, check these out. I'm like, dude, bro, I totally am. So what I'm talking about is there's this product called Grinds, and it's essentially like little pouches of coffee instead of chewing tobacco.
Oh, weird.
That's
not where I thought you were going with this.
I thought this was the fucking stupidest idea in the world, but the 4-pack was like $12, and I'm like, whatever, we'll give it a shot. I fucking love it. If it's like the afternoon and I want the taste of coffee without getting jacked out of my mind and ordering something and spending the rest of the evening bouncing off the walls, pop a little coffee pouch in there, you get the flavor, and you're not like totally wired.
How does it compare to like a standard cup of coffee, caffeine-wise?
Caffeine-wise, it's like the same size as like a small one at Starbucks.
Okay.
It's like 30 or 40 milligrams. It's slow release because you're like basically just keeping it in your tooth, area or whatever.
Bring it in a tooth like a cyanide.
But like, how do you like where you put like chaw basically?
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before they find out that it's also going to give you jaw cancer.
Listen, at this point, I might be okay with it because it's they taste good. It's something that's not super invasive, and the pouches are built in such a way that you don't look like that dude rolling up into the bank with his old truck full of chickens and a pig. So you don't look like you're going to a hoedown is what I'm getting.
Oh, no,
at.
you don't understand. The pig is them chickens' boss.
Do you have to spit?
No, that's the thing. That one of the most frequently asked questions in like the little Q&A for the post was like, and they even went out of their way to like address it. Like the company had a little graphic that was like, you can swallow it. It's just coffee.
You can swallow.
It's
like,
just spit coffee.
And all over the packaging, it's like, this is not tobacco. Not tobacco, no nicotine, this is not tobacco. It's literally just coffee in a little pouch.
Yeah, I'm on board.
It's beautiful. Can't recommend it enough. Andy, do you want to recommend something to our listeners?
Did I already recommend Sea of Thieves?
I think we talked about it on a stream, maybe? Or maybe we'll talk... I don't know.
I recommend Sea of Thieves because we've been playing that, and it is fun, and sometimes people are buttholes, but that is kind of fun, too.
It's very, approachable because you're gonna, no matter when you start or when you pick it back up, you're always gonna basically be on the same level as everyone else.
Yeah, there's no leveling up.
Oh,
it's all
that's
the same
good.
weapons. You can get cosmetics, but otherwise you're just kind of adventuring as pirates. You see another pirate ship, it's your decision whether or not to go fuck those people up. We tried that the other day, and those guys were experts.
Yeah, I like games like that where it's like the whatever principle you want to call it, but I'm going to call it the Rocket League principle, where you can only progress through skill, not through unlockables.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's interesting. Here's
And there's 3 different levels of ships. There's a sloop, which is 2 people.
yeah.
Or one.
There's a 3-person ship, which I can't remember the name of. And then a galleon, which you can have 4 people on. And it's all like, you have to raise the sails and get the wind right, and you fight skeletons. And
Yeah, one of my projects that I was hoping to get done this weekend was to turn a Raspberry Pi into a streaming machine so I can stream from my PC in the studio here to my television. So maybe I'll look into Sea of Thieves and see what trouble I can get into there.
Quite the thing. You can get it on Xbox or PC, and if you get it on either, they can play with each other.
And one of the funnest things we've done on it so far is the Tall Tales, and you have to solve riddles and find the location on a map and walk 10 paces and stuff like that.
You had fun. Alex and I tried to do that the first time, and we got done. We found this item. You need this item. Go turn this item.
Sure.
We got butt fucked by
What?
3 other crews of pirates.
They were trying
One
to
of
bring
them
the item
jumped-
back.
One of them jumped onto the deck, grabbed the item, which was of no use to him. He can't sell it. He can't do shit with it.
It's only for the story mission.
And took it away. You know what that did to an hour of my work?
Probably flushed it down the pirate toilet.
Yeah, the pirate toilet.
That's the ocean.
Total.
Or like the very first night, Adam and Larson and Alex and I played. We're sailing around and like this spooky music starts happening, and the fucking Kraken ate our ship.
Well, no, this music started, I'm like, I think something's happening. And then a skeleton ship rose out of the water next to us. We started fighting that, and then the water turned black, and tentacles rose up out of the water.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So that sounds cool. I might have to look into that once I get my my.
But then there was another
situation.
time, I was by myself in a tiny boat, and I went to fish in a storm because you can catch special fish in storms. And I anchored out in this storm, just me and myself in a tiny boat. And with my line in the water turned black, and tentacles rose up everywhere.
Well,
I had to raise anchor and trying to get the hell out of there.
You done fucked up.
I caught something.
And it's made by Rare, so there's all sorts of cosmetics that you can get for like. I have Battletoads themed shit.
Yeah, Rare has an interesting visual style. I'm not super into like the blatant incest cross promotion of franchises, but I understand there's a market.
Yeah.
Adam, what do you want to recommend our listeners?
I just started playing. When I say just started, I mean yesterday. Oh yeah, never mind. I'm gonna
Okay.
change it immediately.
All right.
We just finished Man of Medan the other day.
Man of Medan?
Well, it has another title. It's like
Dark
Dark Pictures Anthology
Yeah,
or
Dark
something?
Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan.
Did you ever play
yeah.
Until Dawn?
So yeah, I now that you say that, I'm familiar with that anthology of like basically walking simulator horror games.
Yeah, with quick time events, but there's like decisions
Yeah.
that you have to make. I'll be the very first person to tell you that I'm the only person who got a character killed.
But yes, it is sort of a walking simulator. It's less about the gameplay and more about the choices you make.
Yeah, like I guess they would call it a branching narrative instead of a walking simulator.
Choose your own adventure.
It's a choose your own adventure, but you don't always know which page you're going to.
Yeah,
But the Dark Pictures Anthology ones have a mode where it's called Movie Night, where you put in everybody's name and assign people characters, and when that character is up to be controlled, you hand the controller to that person.
Yeah, you can play it with one controller, and you just pass the controller around depending on whose scene it is.
yeah. I've seen a lot about that stuff. I think that it's an interesting concept, but everything now. You know what? Here's what I miss. I get all the gimmicks about multiplayer. Somebody make some games with some local system in your same house multiplayers.
That's exactly what this is.
But I want not walking simulators. I want fighting games and
I'm
shit.
sorry.
I don't want fighting games. What do you want, David?
I know I do want fighting games. I like old timey racing games. I don't know. Somehow. This is a tangent, obviously, but somehow, racing games went from, a fun thing you could pick up with a couple of friends to something you need to study the manual for,
Yeah, right.
because literally you have a 100% authentic, realistic portrayal of the car that you are riding in, and there's, realistic tire tread wear. You have to change the oil, and sometimes you
I
stub
hate
your
that.
toe, getting into the car. It's fucking
Well,
crazy.
The new Battletoads is split. Well, split screen isn't really the right word, but
Yeah,
you can play it 3 controllers on one
And
system.
at first I was like, God, this is gonna be the cringiest thing, and it actually ended up being pretty funny.
Yeah.
We're only through the first act.
Is it
it's
as
been pretty good so far.
Here are the two things that are going to make or break. The difficulty, is it still crazy hard?
No,
It's not as crazy hard as it used to
The
be.
second level's like the turbo tunnel, though.
Okay. And now friendly fire.
No,
Okay.
No, not that we've seen.
if there was, we wouldn't have had Larson playing it.
Seriously, whose idea was friendly fire? I hope he got one of my frustration pulse
Well, David,
forcibly.
But I do love me a good beat 'em up game.
Yeah, I love Mother Russia Bleeds.
I know. I remember you talking about that one.
So
I've been
much
meaning to
fun.
check it out.
Like,
But speaking of Man of Medan, to finish up that point.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We just finished it. Thursday?
yeah,
It's 4 hours altogether for one run through. But it has a lot of replayability depending on the choices you make.
okay.
But they have a new game coming out. Should be this Halloween. That's looks like it's based around witches.
yeah, witch trials and shit.
And this current game is based around a ghost ship, like a World War II ghost ship.
Yeah, see, there's things that you can exploit. I think that these branching narrative walking simulator games that are taking the time to tackle that nobody else will.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's $20-$30 for the thing, so it's not like you're being too put out for.
Right.
And the fact that there isn't a ton of free play game mechanic type things means that they can put a ton of time and effort into these storylines that sort of interweave and go different directions.
Yeah, so I get it. I just here my whole thing about video games is maybe I'm just too shallow. I want to pick up Broforce, see a little pixelated representation of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, and just blow away the little pixelated dudes as they blow, explode into
That's
these
fine.
little
I
red
like those
goblins.
kind of games.
And I guess that's just a fault of my own. Is I don't have time to sit down and get sucked into these long ass narratives, which is why my second playthrough of Red Dead 2 was such
it was 4 hours.
it's an abysmal. I at this point in my life, I'm one of those dudes who's Mother Russia Bleeds, bam, 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 face punching, that kind of shit.
Well, I got into when the quarantine first started. Assassin's Creed Odyssey went on sale for $5 on Steam. I was like, I could do that, and after 20 hours, I said, I have seen everything I want to see in this game. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And that's what all these weird online sales are great for. It's never been a better time to be a consumer, but being a producer or a creator is getting a little rough, man. The market is so
Even
wide.
the creators, with all the new platforms and stuff, there's a lot more opportunity for that kind of thing too.
Right, but it's the same same butter, just a larger piece of bread. Your audience is still you can't grow the general public. But
it's like the guys who made the Fall Guys game, which is the most popular game right now. We're like, we didn't expect this to hit any of these buttons.
It's literally lightning in a bottle because there are that's the thing. There's so many streaming services. There are so many services that offer video games and content. Like you have to do something really remarkable to stand out.
Yeah, well, and I think that's good because you'll see people take more risks to try and get that unique thing out on the market and see what sticks.
That's why I think, everyone says, when a market gets saturated, it goes bad. But you need to have a crash every once in a while to reassess.
Yeah. True.
So, whatever. Guys, if you want to get in contact with us, fistfulofpodcasts@gmail.com. If you want to come by the website, it's ffopradio.com. Like, there's Twitter stuff there and whatever. You can see our Hall
I want
of...
to go to the website. Hold on.
Hall of Fame.
No, that's the wrong one.
It's like don't go to the Chinese one. It's like the most bare bones of websites, so nobody cares. I'm just throwing it out there.
I saw the picture of the beach and I thought it was dinosaurs. I was like, you fuck.
Yeah, it's like stock. Listen, I'm doing all of this like with no knowledge of how to do it, so everything is just like basically mediocre at best. You come by and see us on Twitter. You can come by the Facebook page. We're always having fun there. I'm maybe going to do some more polls and shit. I know I'm super annoying on there because I post a lot. So I am sorry if you're getting annoyed or, you're probably just unfollowing me. So it's fine too. I guess that's it. Unless you guys have anything you want to throw out there, I'm ready to shut this baby down.
Why was Professor Utonium trying to make little girls?
Oh, God.
Yeah, marketing, probably.
Of course.
Like, he knew lightning in a bottle. You need 3 girls who fight crime, you got yourself a TV show.
It's true, he did.
All right, guys. So until next time, I'm Dave.
I'm Andy.
I'm Adam.
Saying, I still don't have a way to end this show, so maybe next time. See you next week.
Or they try to
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.
So a couple things I want to talk about. I had a maybe $1 million idea.
Ooh.
I feel like David's ideas are depreciating.
I can't.
I got a $20 idea.
Listen, this is a good idea. I'm just worried about marketing. So what we've got here is, everybody, you get a little in the afternoon, you get a little in the early morning. Then if you don't, so here's the thing. If you fuck during the day and you don't have the night to sort of let everything get over and you're asleep, you don't give a shit. If you fuck like in the early morning, there's instances of like, annoyance. You know what I'm talking about? All the stuff that can happen to you after, like, if you like, does this make sense?
I think I'm almost to your point.
David says we should fuck in the morning because it's annoying at night?
No, because
it's the opposite.
Because when you bang during the day, if you don't like do all the rigmarole to get yourself cleaned up or whatever, you can end up dribbling in your pants. And then you have like this disgusting like slug in your pocket feeling the entire day.
I see where you're coming from. I also have this sort of qualm with it.
It's a real pain in the ass because
you both have dicks like an unmaintained fire hydrant.
I'm just saying, there's more like aftercare that needs to happen.
And that's the thing. I'm not talking about the ones where you're like, this is a special. I'm not talking about like a Valentine's Day fuck. Like you wake up and you're fucking because it's a fucking holiday.
One of those real romantic fucks.
Yeah, one of those 100% fucking
I got that
romantic
bitch chocolates.
Yeah, but I'm talking about your middle of the day. You're not. It's not on the calendar. You didn't plan it. You just go fuck, and then you're like, now real life's calling again. Here's what you need.
Ring ring.
He said, now that we're done fucking, real life's at the door, and I've got a sign. So what I'm talking about
it says
here
no soliciting
is like a small picture. This, if you will. We've all seen paint rollers, the big ones that are like 12 inches long.
So far, I don't like this bad start.
So imagine that, shrink it down from the 12 to about a 3 or a 4. Then
3 or 4 inches.
yeah, so like it's small roller. Then you
Okay, a
get
tiny paint roller.
okay, so then you get 2 of them and sort of have them on a very, sturdy but not firm spring. And then you attach that to a handle with a trigger, which will open up these 2 arms holding these 2 like spongy type rollers. So what you do is, and the handle is also hollow, so your dick can go in it.
You're holding a handle with a trigger on it that deploys 2 little paint rollers to either side?
Not deploys them. They're like, I need to draw a picture or something. So like basically imagine a mag light where you pull a trigger and it opens up these 2 arms that have these 2 paint rollers at the end, and you stick it over your dick, you let go of the trigger, the rollers go on either side of your wiener, and you pull it, and it not only dries out your wiener, but it pulls out all the leftover goo, like you're
Ugh.
cleaning out the last little drops of a toothpaste tube.
Oh God, no!
I'm not saying it's gonna smash your dick. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm like some sort of Frankenstein's monster dick smashing machine. I'm saying
I think you could simplify this idea by, instead of 2 paint rollers, think of more like a toilet paper tube, but with fluff on the inside.
right, but I'm saying like don't think paint rollers, but they're going to be rollers that need to go like they're fluffy on the outside to soak up the dick and the sex juice, but also
Right, but I'm saying
squeeze...
fluffy on the inside. So you just insert.
Didn't you just have
Oh.
like a woolen pocket pussy?
Right.
Kinda, but it's meant for after that.
Right, but here's the thing. You want the rollers to catch all the goo because those are exchangeable. You don't want the inside of the handle to be catching your cum all the time.
Right.
Because,
Well, it would have to be machine washable somehow.
well, why don't we just make it like a brushed aluminum, make sure there's no sharp edges, and then you can just
Brushed aluminum.
yeah, like throw it like space agent. Like what's the space shuttle made out of? We'll make it out of that. You can take the pads off. We'll make those washable. We'll make
okay.
the body of the thing machine washable. Then you just throw it into the thing next to your vibrators and your sex jellies and all your other weird sex pervert stuff that everybody owns. And you say, "Oh, we fucked it. It's 11:45, and now we've got to go make lunch." You go, boom, run that thing up and down your dick a
They've
couple
been saying
times.
vibrators and weird sex things, as though we don't sell dildos at Target.
Do you Do you sell dildos at Target?
We sell a dildo.
What?
What's it called?
I don't know. I've seen the box. It's it's one of those rabbit dildos with the thing that goes over the
It's in the store?
Yeah.
What
section is that in?
Yeah,
in the fucking condom section.
What?
the
We
what
also,
section?
we also have like cock rings with vibrators on the top.
Has the world gone mad?
Yeah, but I feel like I live in on Earth, and you live in Bizarro World, where your Target has cock rings and hillbillies, and mine has.
Oh yeah, that's in the bondage section, aisle 7.
Welcome to Target. Make sure you grab your feek jars. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Is Reno like? Do you see a lot more Mad Max style vehicles on the road?
You do actually, especially around Burning Man time.
My theory is that like a Mad Max type society will happen so gradually that one day we'll just blink and there will be the Road Warrior bending us over like a burning oil drum, and we won't know how we got there.
I did see an SUV with like welded on armor panels and a welded on flagpole
That guy's
with
going-
a Confederate flag on it at the Walmart.
That guy's going on a murder spree soon.
So like I'm gonna have to get ready for work and put on my studded leather jacket and gas mask.
Like imagine Andy throwing on his Target like little shirt and everything and his khakis, and then like the like basically
Putting his machete and a sling on his
yeah,
back.
the
Putting on
machete.
my chrome mask and practicing just walk away.
Yeah, your bandolier of homemade shotgun shells and like your hockey mask that's made out of like stainless steel and shit. And you're like,
I just
Nope,
thought
back
to
to the grind.
The funniest thing I thought to my, like I was thinking the other day, I was like, if they have more protests, should I go? It's like, well, I'd have to wear a mask or something. Oh, David gave me that Friday the 13th mask.
right? Perfect.
It is
excuse.
perfect.
Yeah,